Good evening. I know it's light time here. It's still morning time. We are again here in Pattaya, Thailand. So it's morning time. It's 7 o'clock here. So it's a little early. We just woke up a few hours ago, but it's okay. We're still moving, making sure our day is productive, and we wanted to stay consistent with our weekly call. So make sure you guys chat and say hello to us. Make sure we know that you're here. And also, like, again, make sure our sound is pretty good for you guys.
Definitely. So again, to reiterate what Ashley said, we're having this webinar, and this live webinar is available for our members on our site, specifically our pro members, because we really want to be able to get to know everybody and intimately have a relationship. We want to have this call happen every single week. We want to make ourselves available to be able to answer any questions, as well as for us to be able to at least vibe and build something together. And so that's what we have this call available for our pro members. Right now, for the first 3 calls, we're having this available for our free members as well. And as well as anybody else that want to be involved with the call, we're going to have the recordings for everyone else to be able to listen to either in an audio form as a podcast or in a video form on YouTube. You'll be able to find these videos as well as the audio. But every Saturday, we're getting together with our pro members. We're handling life situations that are happening that seems like they're blockage to you in order for you to get to the next level. All right, so we want to break down barriers in one day. Like we're literally taking this one day, whether or not it's a half hour, an hour, however long we end up talking together, 2 hours. We just want to be able to take the time to be able to blast through barriers. So you want to leave a different person than what you showed up with us. And whenever you're showing up, whether or not it's through live or recording, we want to be able to affect you in that type of way. And so we want to handle real problems, ask your questions during this time, guys. So this is available for you to be able to ask your questions in the chat. So ask your questions, and then when we get to the end, we'll also specifically have a question period once we know more people are tuned in online and you're able to ask your questions at that time. And so we're going to handle life situations. We're going to handle business situations. We're going to jump in there and talk about investments and, really good investments too. We're not talking about mutual funds and CDs and, like those 401ks and stuff like that. We're talking about real investments that can change your life, that can change your family's life, and that can change your legacy. All right. And the topic today that we're talking about is building a legacy plan. What is your legacy building plan? Do you have one? Have you been thinking about it, dreaming about it, visualizing about it? Have you written it down where it's actually solid? Have you talked about it with your family and everybody's building together? Like, are you there yet? And so that's what we want to talk about today. We're going to talk about it in detail, and we actually want to have a whole conversation with you if you join in, and then also we'll have a presentation for folks that are watching on video form. People that are just watching on audio, hopefully we inspire you enough where you can get one done right now. And so, let's jump right into it. You have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I did. So that's one of the benefits about being a pro member with our site, that you get to actually be on live here with the webinar. All the interactions and questions we're getting from our actual members. And so even if you're not a pro member, definitely go ahead and start with the free starter account, because you do get freebies and different discounts and things like that. Like these free 3 webinars that we're having right now, you're having access to, which you normally wouldn't have access to, but you have it now due to the 100 members that we've reached. So we're still excited about the 100 members that we got. We've gotten even more since then. Yes. So it's crazy how fast it's growing from a little idea to now a bigger platform. So make sure you are involved and be interactive on the sites. We have 5 challenges that you guys can do. So make sure that if you want to challenge your mind, challenge your productivity, challenge your investing skills, we got some challenges for you. And we definitely want to make sure that you guys read all the different blogs and things that we have on the sites that are helpful for you and your career, or if you're an entrepreneur, helps you on your journey with that. So we're just so excited, and we're so excited about the topic today about legacy building. We want to make sure that you leave out of here having a legacy plan. And so we're just going to go into detail about that, but we're so excited. Make sure you chat us in the chat box while Tracy's talking, so that we can make sure that you guys are getting all the information that you need. If you can't hear us at any time, let us know in the chat box, and we'll make sure we try to correct it on our end. But let's get started with the topic today. So right now, we're just going to pull up the presentation that we have. It's a short little webinar, short little PowerPoint slideshow to help you look at what exactly we're talking about, so you can have a visual. So right now we're going to screen share, and we're going to show you what we're talking about today. So, right, make sure you guys can see our screen. It says, welcome to our Freedom Lifestyle Investors Team webinar. If you can see it, definitely right. I can see it. All right, so it's a screen that says about today's topic, which is your legacy building plan. We believe everybody should have a legacy building plan. So that's our topic for today.
So guys, if you have any questions at all, make sure that you ask your questions in the chat box. That's why we have these lives available, not just have it through recording. We can really do a bunch of recordings and have them all lined up, ready for you for the whole year. They wanted to have this interactive and have this time frame to really build something. So that's why we have it live. So definitely any questions that you have about life, about business, about investings, about even just how your day went. We didn't really care what the question says. We want to be able to engage with you and find out what's happening in your life and have it be real.
Yes, and remember, if you click the little hand notification, you're actually able to get on video and share your story or information that you want to share. So make sure that you are interactive as well with raising your hand, and we'll chime you in on the call so we can learn more about you and what we're talking about. All right, so what is a legacy? A legacy is more than money or property. It means passing down your time, talents, and treasures to the people and causes you care most about. Provide a financial lift to allow family, community, or charitable causes to go further, faster because of you. Leave a memory of your hard work and focus, honoring your family tree by passing the baton forward. That's the actual definition that we got from Koala Investment Group. We feel like it's a perfect definition and breakdown of what a legacy really means. Once again, it says that legacy is more than money or property. So all the things that's stopping you and hindering you, thinking you have to have a certain amount of money, you got to have a certain amount of assets, a certain amount of property, it's not even about that. It means passing down your time. So taking the time that you have now and being productive with that time. Talents and treasures, all of your skills that you have, all the things that you were born with, natural with, give that to people and causes that you care most about. Karma, you hear a lot of things about karma and good energy. It should always come back to you. Whatever energy you put in, it's going to come back. So however you are in that situation, you're going to get. To make sure that you are consistent with who you are and center your energy. To make sure that you are sharing all of your talents and treasures and information and knowledge to people and causes. That's exactly what we're doing right now with this actual call. We're making sure that we're taking all of our talents and treasures, which is all of our skills and information that we know, and we're passing it on to people so that they can have something similar or a variation of what we have. So we're proving that right now with the legacy. Provide a financial lift to allow family, community, or charitable causes to go further, faster because of you. That's the greatest thing that I feel like is the great thing about leaving a legacy for my children. I hope to provide a financial lift to allow them to go further and faster because of me. So that means that if I have a shorter route, that's why I'm a coach. I chose to be a coach because I have the blueprint or the skill set to be able to push you further than taking a whole 10-year class to learn something that I learned or can teach you in 2 months. Why waste 10 years of pain and all the scrutiny when you can have a shorter plan? So you want to make sure that you provide something to pass on to someone that's going to help them get to their goal a little faster. And so make sure that you put in work and put in a grind effort to be able to say, you know what, nothing's standing in my way. I'm going to move forward in this. Also, leave a memory of your hard work and focus. How many times do we think about, okay, God forbid something happened to us? What are we leaving behind? What people know about us? What people say, you know what, about Ashley Nicole, I remember this. And everybody say, you know what, I remember that about her too. What's that thing? And then are you focusing about the memory that you're leaving? Are you diligently working towards that idea? So whatever you feel like that memory should be, are you working towards that? Are you that person? Are you showing that consistently? Are you honoring your family tree? What happened to people before you? What did they leave for you? Did you take at least what they had? And sometimes they didn't even have a lot, but did you take those little crumbs and use it for some type of success or some type of wealth? Did you use that? And did you honor that? Do you give respect and appreciation, honor? And then also with passing the baton forward, you know, you have children. If you don't have children, you probably will, godchildren, people around that you're trying to leave something towards or give them a little pebble, a step forward. They may not know it right now because it does take risks to be able to leave legacy. You got to sacrifice sometimes. But are they going to have something left behind?
Absolutely, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down all of these things separately, and then we're going to break down actually building a legacy plan. So that way you can start one right now if you don't have one, or if you do have one, you can fine tune it so that we can actually accomplish these things for generations to come. All right, and that's how we all succeed. And so we have a poll question for you guys, and we're going to actually add this into the live webinar. And people who aren't on the live webinar, we want to be able to at least have you ask this question to yourself. So ask the question to yourself and then actually come up with an answer. And yeah, we're not going to have you included into the poll when you're watching the recording, but the questions is for you to actually ponder on. It's a thought-provoking question that's supposed to ignite something deep inside of you. So we want you to actually be interactive while we're going along with these Saturday live calls with us. All right?
Yes. So the poll question is, when's the last time you have accomplished something on your vision board? Was it last year, 3 months ago, or my vision isn't clear to accomplish? And be honest with yourself and with this question, because the more honest you are, the more you know exactly where to start from or what you're lacking. So you want to be very honest about this question. Sometimes your vision isn't clear, so just select that, and we'll help you along your journey.
All right, guys. So choose one of those questions, and then we'll tally up the answers.
We'll choose one of those answers.
I'm sorry, yes. Choose one of those answers, and it will tally up the answers. All right, so let's talk about where to start with your legacy, right? So you think about a legacy, and you think about this vision that you have of yourself or your family or your community or whatever it is that you have as far as your legacy is concerned. And sometimes we think about this thing that's so far away, right? It's so far from where we are. It's so far from what we're able to do right now, right? It's so far from what we see ourselves even accomplishing sometimes. Sometimes it seems like it's so big, it might take lifetimes to achieve, right? And so where do you start with this? And so that's why if you start from the beginning with yourself, you'll start to get a general plan and a general purpose of what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime right now. All right, so think about your natural abilities. Think about the things that since the beginning, right? Since you were a child, you were always drawn towards, or you always had the ability to do something that's almost, just better than what most people were able to do, whenever you started to do this activity. And there may be several activities, and all of these activities and all of these abilities can come together and really have a roadmap of where you're supposed to be going when you add them all together. Maybe with so many of them, you're like, wow, I'm trying to do everything at once. And there's too many abilities that I have. I don't know which one I'm supposed to spend most of my time with, or I don't know which one of these abilities that actually get me to my ultimate goal. All right. So when you take all of these abilities, sometimes the experiences that you have from all of these abilities will actually bring you into the path you're supposed to be using with these experiences. So maybe it's a coercive type of thing where you're taking all of your abilities and these positives put you in line to be able to master something that no one else can do like you. All right. And that's one of the other things. You want to make sure that when you're thinking about your legacy, what has life driven you towards becoming a master of? All right. So not just, you're okay at, not just if you try to do it, you can keep up, seriously. What is something that when you think of yourself, you're like, what? It's not too many people that can do that like I can, and if it's more than one thing, that's even better. You'll have stuff that level you off where you're able to change and shift and adapt as time adapts or as situations adapt. You'll always be fine, but you need to find those things that you're really, really good at. What are those pluses? What are those positives and strengths that you have? Because those are things that are going to lead you towards your purpose and your legacy on what you're supposed to be leaving to this world. And that's the last thing. What is the most value you can bring to other people, to situations, or to the world? Now, those are the things that you really want to think deep on as far as what your legacy is about, because your legacy is different than everyone else's legacy. It's specific to you, right? You can look at someone else and you can kind of, admire what they do, and you can admire who they are. But when it comes down to your specific legacy, yours is going to be different than theirs, and the next person that you see, whoever you aim to be, is going to be a little bit different. And so when you ask yourself these specific questions and you tie down what are your strengths, your natural abilities, what are you a master of, what type of value can you bring to people and situations, that's when you can start really getting into your purpose and the work that you're supposed to be doing here. All right. So whatever you're a master of, we want you to be better at, because it's going to help us out in the long run, because it's going to help the world out in the long run. Like the things that you're good at, we need you to break through barriers. Like we need you to change industries. Like we need you to advance the world in a way that nobody else can, because that's your job to do. And so that's why we have these calls. That's why we get so excited about speaking about these topics, because we believe in advancing the world in our way, specific way. And this is our message to you. This is our way of being able to advance the world, to be able to ignite some type of fire in you to get to work on while you're here. All right. So that's definitely, you want to make sure you get clear on your time, your talents, and your treasures, which is one of the part of the definition that we said of legacy, is being able to pass down your time, your talents, and your treasures. And so if you're able to get your time right, like I'm spending my time here on earth, what am I good with during this time? What am I becoming a master of during this time? What am I sharing with the world and actually bringing value to the world and the situations and to just the energy in the universe? Like, what am I bringing towards all of this when I step in the door? Use all of your time wisely and towards going towards your actual purpose. Use your talents towards going to your purpose. And then that's going to create the treasures that you're going to be able to pass down towards going through and accomplishing the purpose, even when you're not here. Even when you're not here, if you use your time right and you use your talents right, you'll have treasures that you can pass down that can accomplish that purpose even when you're gone. And when you come back in the next life, that purpose will still be going, because you left some real talents and you use your time right. And that's the purpose of what we want to ignite with you guys today.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go to the next.
Yes.
All right, so time for our second poll question. How did you influence someone today? So one of the poll questions that we're asking our members right now is a question: how did you influence someone today? If you're listening in and you're not in the webinar, just write your comment down to keep you accountable. Some of the answers, one of them would be: I've helped someone get closer to a goal. I've made someone smile. I was not in a good mood today. So the question is, how did you influence someone today? Either you helped someone get closer to a goal, you made them smile, or you wasn't in a good mood today. Let's be honest with this question. Sometimes you're not in a good mood, but this question is really just to help you keep accountable of the energy and influence that you have on individuals, whether it's positive or negative. And if it is negative, don't take that as a bad thing. Just know that you have somewhere that you need to work on. And so we want to make sure that we're walking in our purpose and legacy every day. And it is a constant work. And so we want to make sure that you're exuding the proper energy of someone that you envision. And so just answer that question. How did you influence someone today? I guess I can answer that question just as a little tidbit while you guys are answering the question. I haven't really seen too many people this morning. It's morning time here, but I did see someone in the hallway on my way to the bathroom. And it was really, really dark. So I want to say I made someone smile. It's early here. People kind of drowsy. She kind of looked like she didn't really want to be at work today. She was just like here early, just kind of moping around. And my instant reaction was like, I'm in a good mood, basically. So I'm like, so I don't really speak her language at all. But I was like, I just did a little, I don't even know what I did. I was just like, hey girl, like something like that. Because they're very like dramatic here. So everything is like hands and, theatrics. So I was just like, hey girl. And she was just like that, and like ran away, like kind of like prissy. So I'm like, She went from like sloping around to like, kind of blushing and like feeling a little bit better. Now she's not as drowsy or, walking over. So I just felt like, what? I made someone smile today. And also I feel like I helped someone get closer to a goal, which is you this morning. Oh, okay. Waking up.
You woke up first today.
Yeah, I woke up first. I helped you get to a goal.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that doesn't usually happen. So that was, and we definitely helping y'all to get you your goals right now. Our whole intention is whoever's watching this, whether you're watching a recording of it or you're watching it live right now, we want to be able to help you get closer to your goals. So that's why we woke up, and, at 5 in the morning to be able to get on, inspire people, and help somebody to get closer to your goal, even if it's one person, 2 people.
Yeah.
No, like we don't really matter. It doesn't really matter how many people. We're helping somebody get closer to that goal by having this topic and bringing this to awareness.
And if you're in this webinar, you definitely should choose number 2, because you made me smile on this webinar, because I'm really excited to be sharing this information with you and also to be learning from you. So I'm just so excited about it. So you made me smile.
Yeah, that's so crazy. So that was cool. So let's move on to the legacy building plan. All right. So we're talking about building a legacy here, right? This is talking about like building an empire, building something that, continues on without you. It's going to take some work, but we have to first dig within ourselves, and then we can start creating this thing outside of ourselves called our legacy. All right. So let's dive a little deeper into it. How can you build a legacy plan right now? All right. So let's think about how will you help future generations live an easier life? All right. So right now time really doesn't exist, but let's think about the linear time, right, of man and where we've been. We've always had some type of advancement, some type of evolution that's happening with, whether or not that's technology or whether or not that's just the way we, the way we work, the way we live, the way we communicate with each other, internet and all these things are just coming, right? They're coming for a reason. Like it's an end goal to this stuff. It's not just like, we're doing it and everybody just moving along from 9 to 5 every day and we don't have anywhere to go. Like it's a linear time frame where we're moving somewhere, right? How are you going to help that where future generations after you can just live just a little bit easier? Like, one person can truly affect the world when you have a legacy plan. Like when you actually have something that you're driving towards a purpose. So how are you going to let the lives after you be at little bit easier? Because me and Ashley don't have any children. But when we do have children, we already planning right now to be able to set them up, to at least have something where you'll be able to focus on your purpose easier, because we worked hard right now to have something established while you don't have to worry about surviving, having a couple dollars in your pockets to be able to eat food or going through stuff in the hood. Like we're trying to change those situations where at least you have enough focus where you can come out and you can get straight going towards your purpose, because that's going to propel the universe forward. So if you think about that one question, how will you help future generations live an easier life? That's you. Like you personally, what is something that you're good at, that you're a master of, that that if you do it well, and if you leave your footprints clearly cut for the next person to come in and do it even better, faster, then that you're doing something towards your legacy. All right. The number 2 is what would help your community the most right now? All right. So if you think about your community that you're in, that could be somewhere that you're from, that you were born. That can be somewhere that you're living at right now. That could be just a social community that you're a part of, that you identify with. In your community right now, what will help it the most? If you had to really sit and think, like, where I am right now, if they just had this little bit of change, right? If we can just add this little bit to our community, or if we can just change just one thing about where we are, what would that be? And make that your responsibility to see that thing change, regardless of how long it takes. Like I said, the legacy is going to continue on. So after you're done, so if you start a project and you leave it clearly cut, then the next person can come in where you're going and continue on with that project until that task is done, until that community is changed and affected forever. All right. So what would help your community the most right now? And think about whether or not, because you came up with that idea, when you sat there and thought about, this will help the community. Nobody else saw that vision but you. So how can you leave that responsibility on to someone else when you just thought of that vision, right? And so if you thought of that vision, that is your responsibility. And so you have to get that started, right? Another question that you can ask about building your legacy plan is, if there was one way you can change the world, how would you change it? All right, so now we're not talking about the community, right? Now we're not talking about something real small like your family or, on your block. Like we're not talking about those things. We're talking about if there was one way you could change the world, not somebody else, not the person you saw on TV, not Steve Jobs, not the people who got billions of dollars. You right now, what's one way that you can change the world, and then how would you change it? Like the second part of that question is, how would you change it? Once you think about that problem or that thing that you want to change, what's the solution? What's the plan? How are you actually going to make these things come into fruition? You, yourself, and whoever else you need to get on board to be able to sell this vision to be able to make it happen. What can you do to change the world right now? And then get working on doing it and planning it and taking action towards it. The other question that we want you to be able to ponder on right now is, what resources will you need in order to accomplish those things? All right. So you're going to need resources to be able to accomplish this big goal. We're talking about, changing the world, changing your community, changing future generations after you. What are the resources that you're going to need? Right. It's not just going to be you that's going to be able to accomplish these big goals. I guarantee it. You're going to need other people that are going to, first of all, you have to be able to have the vision. Then you have to get people on board to be able to see the vision as well. Then you have to be able to know their part in the vision that you have to be able to make this work. And you have to sell them on being a part of it to be able to make it happen. And that's important to be able to make the vision happen. And so you're going to need resources. You're going to need financing, right? You're going to need certain tools and technology and all types of things and people. You're going to need these things coercively in order to make it happen. Start thinking about those things, writing them down, and then going towards, what's the first thing I need? What's the first resource? Okay. And then one of the last questions for now that we're going to have you ponder on is, what's stopping you from living this legendary life right now? Right now. So when we started this webinar, the people that wasn't tuned in at the beginning, this seems like something far away sometimes, right? It seems like, oh, my legacy, that's like when I'm retired and I'm 63, or that's when I'm gone from now. What can you do right now to be able to start living it right now? So first of all, we're doing this together, right? We're helping at least bring this to awareness and start thinking about these questions. Then after this, you're going to start writing these things down and creating a real plan where it's written, where you're talking about it with your family and everybody's on that same goal, talking about it with your community and everybody's on that same goal. All right, so that's what you're going to start with doing. Then right now, you're going to live like you've already accomplished it, like it's already done. Once you write it, it's done. All right, like once it's written down, it's like, that's it. That's law right there. Now it's about just doing it and enforcing the law at that time, right? So once you actually write it and we're bringing it into awareness, now you're living it. Now you are that legendary purpose, because now you are that legendary person because you have that purpose, right? Because you're leaving a legend. Now you're legendary. Nobody's going to be able to do that like you. Not after you took the time and went deep within and found the answer to these questions. All right. So, and the point of this right here is you leaving a memory of your hard work and focus, honoring your family tree by passing the baton forward. And that was one of the definitions that when we first started that we had inside of legacy. And we're breaking down this definition to be able to put it into action, into a plan. And so part of the definition again was you want to leave a memory of your hard work and focus by honoring your family tree by passing the baton forward with your hard work and your focus. All right. And so we also want to add in there, because the other definition that we had a part of legacy was you want to be able to provide a financial lift to allow your family, your community, or charitable causes to go faster because of you. So again, I'm going to repeat that again, because some people weren't here at the beginning of the webinar and we broke down the actual definition. And so this is one of the definitions of a legacy: to provide a financial lift to allow your family, your community, or charitable causes that you care about to go further, faster because of you. All right, so that's part of that definition. So for you to be able to provide a financial lift, you're going to need some investments, right? So we're not talking about the 401k that you signed up with at work. We're not talking about the pension that you could potentially get. We're not talking about Social Security checks, SSI, none of those things. We're not talking about your life insurance policies. None of those things are financial security, right? They're not security. We don't know if that's going to be here. We don't know if that's going to be put in the right places. You want to be able to take financial investments into your own hands. And so us as Freedom Lifestyle investors, right? If you're tuning in right now, you're automatically a Freedom Lifestyle investor. You're already on board. The people that are watching this live webinar, you already signed up on the website. You know you're Freedom Lifestyle investors. We have particular types of investments that we get into right now. It's 2018 as we're recording this live video. And these investments are the best investments that you can place your money at in the world. So we're not talking about CDs. We're not talking about mutual funds, all of those things. Like, they're not going to get you no high return. We're talking about things that are so stable that if your father would have passed this down to you, you would have a different life right now. That's the type of investments we're talking about. If someone was to hand you this when you were a child and told you about these things, your life would be so different. You would never have to worry about anything: money, purpose, family. None of those things will be a worry to you if you had these type of investments able to be passed down in your financial, in your legacy, in your, in your bloodline. All right. So real estate is one of the best things that we're so blessed and happy to have run into as a skill to pick up. We ran into real estate when we had $0. Nothing. Barely could make the bills. Barely had, we had to go to the pantry to go get food one time. And, like those type of situations was when we ran into real estate. Yeah. And so it was such a blessing to be able to figure out, not only did we figure out how to do real estate, but we figured out that we didn't even need to use our own money and our own credit to be able to be successful in real estate, to learn it, to get the game. Yeah. So when we found that out with real estate, that's what the first thing that just changed our life and our situation. Personally, this is before we get a chance to even pass it down to our children. Mm-hmm. Before we even get a chance to, real estate changed our life personally just from the beginning, because we were able to start from nothing and to be able to create 5-figure, 6-figure checks just out of the thin air without using our own money or credit. And then once we were able to learn the game without using our own credit, without risking our own money or credit, really, even if you have money and you have credit, if you don't know what you're doing, I always recommend don't risk it right now, right? If you don't have to, right? So there's ways to be able to do real estate even if you're starting from nothing. There's no excuse, right? And so we were able to take the tool called real estate. We were able to take that, change our life, and then once we learned the game, now we're able to risk our own money and risk our own credit and build bigger projects because we learned how to do the game, right? And so real estate is something that you can get into right now regardless of where you are, and you can go as far as you want to take it. You can have it just give you a small financial freedom where you don't have to worry about financial worries, or you don't have to worry about being in a rat race or having a full-time job. Real estate can do that for you, or it can change your family's life, your whole bloodline's life. If you do real estate correctly and you have something that you can pass down at that point, it can just change your situation and your family's life when you learn how to do real estate. So we're just truly thankful for to be able to use that, to know that, and to have learned it and to still do it every day. Still today, we still do real estate every single day. Now, because we've made it in real estate, we were able to take the money from real estate and now reinvest our money into other things. And these are the other things that we invest our real estate money into, is we invest it into currencies. So currencies are like foreign currencies that you can exchange on the market, and you can be able to make a profit from the exchange of exchanging these foreign currencies. You can do that online, on your phone, on your computer, wherever you are in the world. Mm-hmm. And so we do this every day while we're here in Thailand. We're able to just hit the charts, we learned the game. Again, it might have took us a year. It might have took us a year and some money to be able to get a mentor and coach. We definitely did that. We spent some money on that, and we also spent some money on losing here and there on the market. It's a given when you're learning a new skill, right? And so we took a loss here and there, but a year later, to be able to learn a skill that can pay you for a lifetime, that you don't have to worry about ever having to be a certain place or sell somebody on something or have a product or none of those things. So we took foreign exchange and we took currencies, and then there's also other different types of currencies now. We have cryptocurrency. Here in 2018, we have digital currency that can be invested in, and you can take your financial returns. I mean, we made over 1,000% return on one of our cryptocurrencies investments. It was a 1 cent coin. And it turned into 11 cents when it hit the market. We got it during the ICO, which is the initial coin offering before you actually put the coin on the market. They take investments, kind of like an IPO if you do stocks. Mm-hmm. And so we took an investment, 1 cent coin turned into 11 cents just overnight. Like that's the type of stuff that cryptocurrency is doing for our generation right now. And so if you want to learn that industry, we're not talking about just throw money out there and think it's going to hit the wall and then you're going to be rich. We're talking about getting in, taking the time, taking the grit to be able to, I don't care if it takes a year. I don't care if it takes 5, 10 years. If I learn cryptocurrency now, 5, 10 years from now, nobody's going to be able to touch me or my knowledge or my value on what the skills and I pay my dues to the game. It's like, if you take the time to do that, regardless of how long it takes, these are the investments that we're talking to you to be able to do. So money investments, time investments, energy investments, it's going to take that to be able to make these investments work. We also have commodities. And so commodities are things like gold, silver, even agriculture to me is considered commodities, rice, wheat. Like those things used to be money back way back in the day. Yeah. Also, commodities can be stocks. You can do all types of things that can be considered commodities that are good for trading. If the stuff hit the fan and currencies hit the floor, the world is over, we're going to be trading some type of commodities. That's something that the world always needs for import and export and things like that. And so you want to be able to be an expert in commodities. Start learning that right now, right? Start holding on to those products and those things and those assets right now. All right, start building that.
Right.
You also have your own business and your passions. All right, so we just talked about legacy. We just talked about what you're good at, what you can master, all of those things. And so you have certain passions, you have certain natural abilities. Now you want to be able to put that into a business. Now you want to be able to be paid for those talents because you're providing a value. And then you want to be so good at providing that value that it's set up clearly cut where somebody else can come in and do something easier because of you. All right, so that's what your business is about. That's why it's necessary for you to create a business along with having these other things. As Freedom Lifestyle investors, we focus on one at a time to be able to build it into its flourishing. But we have all of these things working together because if something happened, unless it's the end of the world, we're going to be okay. If we have real estates and currencies in your own business, as well as these other things that we're about to talk about, we're fine when we have all of these elements working together. And so that's why we're preaching this at the top of our lungs, every single week or whenever we're getting online or wherever we're doing stuff, because this is our message to everyone that when you have these stable things, like this wasn't in my community, these type of things. Yeah, I wasn't just brought up just knowing this knowledge. I was, blessed to be able to get the information. So I don't want to share it in an easy way where now it can just click for you and you can just get going on your purpose and your path and put these things to work for you, right? And so your own business and your own passions is necessary for you to be able to put out there into the world to be able to advance. So start working on that right now. Sometimes we think about businesses and we think about, how can I make a quick buck real quick? How can I flip this into this product and to be able to make a little bit more money instead of really thinking about what is the general purpose of my vision and how do I want to affect the other person, the customer, the world when they come across my business. All right. So put those passions to work by creating your own business. Then the fourth thing that we do that we focus on is we invest into future businesses that will advance industries and advance the world. All right, so if we have certain limited amount of time and energy that we can do towards our own business. If you ever started a business before, if you're an entrepreneur, you know the work that it takes to be able to build your baby from the ground up. You have to be screaming at the top of your lungs for years before anybody else would even pick up the message. But, It's like you really have to build that thing from the ground up. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of work. What you can do with your finances is you can invest into other people's businesses, other people's work and time and grit and passions. You can invest into them when you align with their advancement of the world and the industries that they're in. If you can see they're about to go, they're about to blow. Like the trends is there. Like Ashley's really good at picking up trends. Like she's on social media and she can realize right when a company is about to take off, or right when a business or an artist or anything is like, she can notice the trends really, really, really well the way she navigates social media. And so if you can pick those things up, or if you can find businesses that align with what you're about and what your legacy is about, right? If you can find businesses that align with that, now you can invest your money or you can invest your time, because time is also investment. You can invest your money or your time into those other businesses that's going to further the world or further certain industries, and you can get in while it's early and you can reap the benefits that way. And so we love investing into startups, and not startups where it's just an idea. Yeah. Like we talk about this all the time. Like it's not like I got this idea and I haven't gotten started on it yet, but I didn't take any action, but I got an idea. Do you want to invest in it? Like that's not going to do. It's like I have an idea and I put in all the time and the work that needed to make it happen. I have the market. My market is listening. My product work or my service is working, and it's definitely going to make it happen. I just need an investment to be able to expand it and further it. Those are the startups that we like to be involved with, and we have this separate because it's different than investing in stocks. Usually we have bigger company stocks, then you're buying like a stock and you get a certain amount of equity and it's really small. You barely have any ownership and any power as far as making things change in that business or industry. When you get it from the beginning, right before it takes off in the trends, then you can be a part of it. You can get higher equity, you can get higher residuals, you can actually, make a difference in that business. And so we love finding people who are truly just as passionate as we are in our business. They have just as a huge vision. They're working just as hard. We like to align with those people and we want to invest in their project, in their situation, whatever that's involved in our time, our money, You know, exactly. So we like to do that with future businesses. And then the last thing that we do that we invest into, and it's the last thing, but it's actually the most important one, and it's the one we spent the most money, the most time on, the most, you know, heartache on, is ourself. Developing ourself and developing our personal skills. That is our full-time job. While we out here in Thailand right now, that's what we do full-time. Like, we have a schedule of personal development that's so strategic and serious that that's our full-time job right now. Like I said, we have all of these working, and these are more like side hustles compared to developing ourselves and developing our personal skills. Yeah. You know, making sure our energies is right when we're going out here into the world, trying to be our best and our higher self as much as possible whenever we come across someone else or a situation or whenever we do in our business. Like, that takes so much time and so much focus to be able to develop yourself. It's just crazy, and we take it truly serious. And so we'll invest the money, the time, the energy, the grind, the heartache, all of those things into developing yourself. And you want to do that first, and you want to do that throughout these things that you're investing in. And so again, for the people that's not watching live on a webinar, you don't have to screen. I want to go over these financial investments, and you can find us on our website at freedomlifestyleinvestors.com. So freedomlifestyleinvestors.com. We're super serious about these investments to the point where we want to give you all the information that we have, and just as we learn it, we're dropping it on the website for you to be able to just gather the information and get started and get better and master these things as we master them. So real estate, that's our first baby. That's our first thing that got us, that breakthrough that got us out of our situation. Currencies, foreign exchange, you know, using cryptocurrencies, commodities like gold and silver, and agriculture and stocks. Doing your own business, so your own business and your own passions needs to be developed. It needs to. There's no option about it right now. You are an entrepreneur. I don't care if you never had a business idea. I don't care if you had 10, 20 of them and they never was successful. You're an entrepreneur, and it's your duty to be able to put your business and your passions out there to the world right now. All right? So that's what you're doing right now. You have a business, you're an entrepreneur. Get those businesses and those passions working out there. Then you have future businesses that will advance industries in the world. So you want to invest into those, that people that you come across, situations that you come across, networking out here in the world, online. You're going to come across all types of people that you're like, no, I really vibe with what they're doing. I wish them so much the best, that they succeed with that it's going to help out my legacy so much that I'm going to invest my time, or I'm going to invest my money into these situations, okay? And then also you want to develop yourself and your personal skills. And that's your financial legacy plan. Like the other stuff that we talk about, you know, like we said, legacy is more than money, it's more than property, it's more than assets. It's really about leaving your time and your skills and passing the baton forward, right? But you're able to do these things much, much more easier when you have some type of financing backing you. Right? We have some huge goals. Me and Ashley think about the goals that we have scares us sometimes. We go on other planets, talk about building communities on other planets, like literally, like talk about scientifically, how can we make this like happen? And what would we want the world to look like? And how would we want to run it, you know, government wise? And how, like, we think about stuff so crazy it scares the mess out of us. Then we work backwards and think about how can we build these things, and this is the first phase, the second phase, the third phase. Like that's the type of stuff. And when you do these things, if you have that, you're going to have to work on yourself so much, because you're going to be a different person when you accomplish those huge goals. Like you're not even going to be the same as you develop and go to the different phases. The different phases is going to require you to level up to the point where you have to be different. You can't continue to be the same and think you're going to accomplish those big things. Right? And so you want to be able to develop yourself harder than any of these things, because when you develop yourself and you really get good at your own thoughts and actually projecting the right thoughts into the universe, everything around you just creates itself. Like things like they come out the sky when you actually develop your thoughts enough where you're in control and you can visualize something and you can bring it into fruition like this, because things start getting into place when you put it out there into the universe, because you're sure. Because you're definite, because you know this aligns with your purpose. You know it's going to happen. And so when you visualize it and you visualize it so clear, things just start moving. And that was up to you to just take action on those opportunities as those doors open, because you visualized it, because your thoughts were so in control that you didn't have any doubts. When those doubt thoughts came, you just got them out of here, like move out to the side, move out the way, because this is going to happen. Things are going to line up. Things are going to come to make that come. Right? So develop yourself enough where you have that undeniable confidence and desire and things about yourself that you can really go out there to the world and just ignite other people to be able to get in line with your purpose is because you stepped in the room.
Mhm.
Like those are the type of things that you're going to have to develop yourself to do, and it takes practice because the world is out there beating you down, talking about this is how you're supposed to be.
Mhm.
Like this is how we are. You're supposed to be like this, so this is how you're supposed to look like this and act like this. And people are going to get out there, and it happens so much when we're younger, right? When we were younger, that's what happened out there to the world where we weren't aware at that time. And so we're letting these things just control us. And now we act like this and we be like this and we forgot our purpose. Like looking at kids sometimes.
Yeah, it brings us to tears.
Like we watched the Master Chef Junior. Man, they blow our mind away.
It brings me to tears almost every episode, just how they work. It's like they have no barriers, like no experiences that, you know, adults have that would hinder them to becoming their best selves and for them doing their passion. And these kids are like 8 years old, 8, 9, and 10, and they're cooking lavish meals that you get them at 5-star restaurants and things like that. But the passion that they have for it, to the point where they're actually, like he said, creating it from a thought to, okay, this may seem like it, so let me do the action now.
So let me master
and now I'm a master chef.
These kids are coming out just ready to go on their purpose. They haven't been beat up by the world yet to tell them that they can't do it. That their purpose isn't good enough. That's not what you're supposed to do. That, you know, they don't have that yet. So they're going in there and they're better cooks than the adults, hands down. Even like we watch the show, so we know it's like
personalities alone, you know,
just that coerciveness of helping others, and helping each other. It's a totally different show. It's crazy.
The adult show, you know, you have a lot of bickering, a lot of competition, a lot of negative,
a lot of doubts in their head. They mess up even more.
They're panicking.
It's crazy. The different. So it's like
no doubt.
It's really like developing yourself, especially if you're just starting out and you haven't been doing this like intricately, like to the point where you're doing it with all your thoughts. It's going to take some time, right? But it's to the point where we've been beat up by the world so much that we have to put into the time to relearn and to rechange our mind frame, because we've been programmed. We have to take that diligent time to reprogram yourself because of so much programming that's happened throughout our life. Right. And so we have to give that time and give that investment to yourself. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you should be meditating. Mm-hmm. You know, I noticed, you know, myself, being in more control of my thoughts, I'm starting to notice every single thought that comes. And the thoughts that don't align with my future goals, I'm getting them out of here. I'm rewriting that script into a thought that actually goes towards where I'm going. Every single thought. There's a lot of them. There's thousands of them. I don't care. I'm in control now. These thoughts are going to go by my command. Like, that's how I feel. And so every single thought that comes in my head from the morning to the time that I'm going to sleep, out there into the world, everything, I'm controlling them. And I'm noticing so much about myself where it's just like, wow. As soon as I wake up in the morning, sometimes worry thoughts creep in early in the morning. And you start harping on them and you start getting emotionally involved in them and creating the vision of them. And now you're perpetuating them. It's crazy how that happens right in the morning. And so if you're in controlling your thoughts in the morning, you should wake up and get right to a meditation. What am I thankful for? What am I grateful for? Right? What are the things that, you know, I want to forgive somebody else for, that I want to forgive myself for? What are the things that I want to happen in my day? If I had my idealistic day right now, how would that look? What would that look like? Start visualizing that. What do I want my future goals to look like? What does that visually look like in intricate detail? Spend your morning doing that and you're in control. You're starting off right. And there's all types of other meditations and things that we do throughout the day to make sure we checking back in with our energies. Where are we at? Are we moving towards this? Where, you know, we do this intricately when it comes down to developing ourselves. So we can get passionate and we can talk about that for hours.
And hours and hours. I didn't even tell you my version. It's already been long. Yeah. But it's just like, you know, that's the most important thing, because all these things run off of you and your state of mind and where you are. And so you do have to constantly develop yourself and develop your personal skills, because times do change. You know, we are in a time now where information is changing, shifting, advancing. And so we have to make sure that we are in top speed when it comes down to us adjusting to the times that are occurring. But developing yourself is just very, very important. And we can spend hours and hours talking about it, but it's okay, because we got every Saturday to talk about it. But developing yourself is so, so important. Everything comes from a thought. So if everything outside of you comes from a thought, you have to work on your thoughts. And like Tre Leon Bay said, we have to focus. Sorry, I keep calling him Tracy because
that's my name.
Sorry. But yeah, developing yourself is just so important because you have to make sure you are constantly in control of your thoughts and making sure that each thought that you have is productive, and whether it's a positive thought or if you're shooting a thought towards someone else, that is positive energy and is going to just come back to you tenfold in a positive way. So you definitely got to make sure that you work on developing yourself and personal skills. So that way real estate, currencies, commodities, businesses, all the extra stuff will run smoothly. And also you can make sure you have a common goal in mind. Because when you're not clear on yourself, you're not clear on the vision, you're not clear on the goal, and it will kind of create a rift in all the other avenues that you're investing in if you're not clear. So you want to make sure that you're clear so that way you have clear investments, you can see clearly, and also you can see the goal clearly. So it's definitely all important.
Definitely. So we have another poll question for y'all. It's definitely a question that we want you to ponder on. It's a thought-provoking question. And so we like to give y'all that throughout the webinar.
Sure. Yeah. So the poll question is, when will you begin writing down your legacy plan? Is it 1, I'm writing it now? 2, I will begin Monday? 3, I already have a legacy plan written. So if you're on our webinar right now, please answer that poll question. And once again, the question is, when will you begin writing down your legacy plan? Are you writing it now? Will you begin on Monday? Or are you already did you already write a legacy plan? So if you're listening on a podcast or if you're on our social medias, just write down the answer, comment it. And if you have needing help, let us know. Or visit our freelancinvestors.com site. We have a lot of blogs, a lot of things written already that will kind of help you in propelling you forward when it comes down to your legacy plan.
Right. So your legacy plan, guys, it's not like a goal. It's not like a goal list. It's not like a financial, plan. It's literally a legacy plan. Like we went through all of this today. We have the recording. If you're watching live on either channel, we're going to have the recording so that you can go through all of the questions in detail and write a real legacy plan. All right. And this is something that a lot of people don't talk about. We ourselves talk about it with each other. We write it down. We keep track of everything for the people that's going to come, whether or not that's our children or family or, other people after us. We keep track of everything as diligently as possible. And we have a specific goal and reason why, we like, even as a couple, like it's a reason why we came together. And it's a reason why we are together on this journey, and something that we can both provide together that we couldn't do separately to the world. And we have a legacy plan as far as us, us together is concerned, as well as us separately and our different upbringings, our different skills and things like that. And so legacy plans is important for you and your family to be on one accord. And so we definitely want you guys to have one. So that's why none of the answers say that I don't have one or I'm not going to have one. It says, are you writing one right now? Will I begin on Monday, which is the start of the week? Or are you already have one written down and you're already good at working towards it?
So
written down, not in your mind.
You should definitely be choosing number 2 because we ain't gonna have no choice. Matter of fact, or do it right now.
Like, pull out the pens, the notepads, start jotting down some notes
as you have, on your phone, so you can do it on your phone now.
Especially when something sparks, when something sparks an idea that we have,
just write it down
on our phone quick on the notepad,
piece of paper,
writing it down, even if it's in the middle of the night. Get that on paper so that you won't forget that and you can start working towards it and actually making it happen in real and fruition in your life and not just talking about it.
Yeah, it's nice to write it down. Because when you write it down, you're able to at least memorize a little bit of it, and also you're making it plain. And the one thing I know is when you make a vision, you got to make it plain, because if you don't, you won't know exactly what to do to prepare for it, and it won't be nice for someone to follow if you were to leave or whatever, because they won't have strategic steps to take. So you got to make sure that you keep like a syllabus or just even a strategic bulleted point so that you can actually have somebody follow behind you, because like you say, you never know, you can end up, this can be used for your business, maybe hiring a manager or employee, they can follow this. And so make sure you always write everything out, even if it's just a thought and an idea. You never know how big it can get or who may need that idea. So
definitely, guys. So we're going to get to the actionable steps to building your legacy plan. And so we've been breaking down legacy. We've been breaking it down to the points. We've been trying to visualize on what that looks like. And now let's get into some actionable steps that we want you to leave here with doing. Just making sure it's 4 things. And we want to make sure that you accomplish these 4 things as soon as you get off this call, because we have these calls every single Saturday, and we want to make sure that you're a different person when you leave this call. And that takes action. That's going to take you actually doing things besides just visualizing and stuff like that, saying it. Those are things that are good, but let's take some action to be able to make this thing actually happen. And so we want you to be able to write down your answers to the questions that we asked today. And so we ask some poll questions, but we also ask some other questions as far as developing your legacy and getting really deep within yourself and within your purpose. You might have to go back past lifetimes. I don't care what you got to do to be able to answer these questions. But when you do answer them with yourself and with your family, you're going to come up with such a clear purpose that every day when you wake up, all of your time is being spent towards your purpose. All of your talents is being spent towards your purpose. And now you have treasures that you can pass on to other generations as they go along to be able to go forward in that purpose. All right, so write down your answers to the questions that we asked today. You also want to visualize what you would look like to have accomplished these things in the next 10 to 20 years. And so you want to visualize as if you already did it. What would that look like? And those visualization exercises that we do this all the time, we get so deep with like before we came out to Thailand, for example, that was a goal that we had. We didn't know how long it was going to take. Like we met each other 5 years later, we ended up here, but we visualized those things where it was just like, what would the water smell like? How would it sound when we're there? What does the view look like? We broke down everything. Like, how does the wind feel? Like, do you feel that wind? Yeah. Like, we're actually there. Like, we astro projected out of this time, out of this place, and we went to that destination already. We were already there. Like, time don't even exist to us anyway. Yeah. It's just really a figure of our imagination. So you can transpire yourself in astro travel to another time, place, and destination. Like, you can do that. Do that with your mind by visualizing so clear. You already know what that looks like. You already know what it's going to take for you to get there because I visualized it so much. I swear I traveled to Thailand. I told her actually, what we were doing, I was like, look, babe, I'm about to travel there right now. I'm putting some things together for us. I'm making sure these roads are clear, making sure these things are going to be there when we get there. I'm making sure it looks like this. I'm visualizing all of that. And I'm actually saying, I'm there already. So visualize that deep with yourself when you're visualizing about your goals. Go super deep to the point where you feel like when you open your eyes, you're like, I just came back from a trip. Yeah. Like, it's just like, I just got my bags, my suitcases. I just got back. This is what I accomplished. Like, that's what you should feel about any goal that you set. Yeah. Real estate, businesses, where you want to go, who you want to be, all of those things should be visualized to the T so much that you're there already. So visualize in the next 10 to 20 years, and I do this every single morning. We're at a point where we already have those things already in my head accomplished. Mm-hmm. All right? Prioritize which resources you need in chronological order. All right, so we talked about resources that you're going to need to make these goals go forward. You have financial goals, you have the legacy goals as far as passing stuff down, your purpose and all of these things. Now let's get real clear on what's the resources that you need to be able to make it happen. You have a goal that's all the way over here and you're over here. What are the things in the middle that you need, right? And so work from the goal and work backwards. If you know you have this big goal and you see yourself, you visualize all of these things, right, with the visualization exercise. Now that you visualized all of these things, now you say, oh, okay, I need that to be there. Well, I need to make sure this is in place. Or I need to make sure that person is right there at the perfect time for me to be able to go forward and do that. Set those things up where now you're working on them right now in chronological order. Like, all right, so this person needs to be there, that needs to be there at this month, at this time. Those things need to be in place. We need to advance. In order for us to have 10 locations, we need to be able to have these locations in place in this type of way. Like everything that you do, that you have towards your legacy plan, prioritize with these and put the resources in chronological order of what you need from the goal towards where you are right now. All right, and so actually write those things down and start knocking them out and going towards it.
Yeah. So even if you're just in a thinking stage, maybe you haven't had a business yet, but you know that's what you're aiming for. Just start in the basic things that you're going to need to move forward and start checking them off. Every day do an action towards your goal or your business.
Right. And the fourth one, it's only four actionable steps that we say and do it. All right. I don't think that's a lot to ask for as far as doing if you're here on this call, you're here for a purpose. And so we want you to be able to actually take these steps so you can accomplish these things that we're saying, not just like piping up like motivation, inspiration type of stuff. Like this is stuff that we're telling you, like this is things that's going to change your life. Exactly. All right. And so the fourth thing that we want you to do is be able to choose your first wealth investment vehicle to focus on. We gave you 5, right? You said real estate, currencies and commodities, your own business and passions, investing into future other businesses, and then also yourself, right? Choose one of those 5. Doesn't matter how much money you have, how much time you have, what position you are in your life. None of that stuff matters because you can choose one of them, even if it's just yourself. You can choose other businesses if you don't have time. You can create your own business without any money. You can do, real estate without money. You got to have some time. Yeah. But you don't have no money. You got to have some time with real estate. All right? Don't fake the funk on nothing.
If it takes no money, you're going to need to
We
put in
don't-
some work or some type of effort somewhere else.
We make sure we're real and transparent about everything.
yes.
We will teach you real estate gladly, but you're going to need some time if you don't have the money.
Yeah.
All right, that's just the truth.
Time
And
and
so
action.
you have the real estate, the currencies, the commodities, your own businesses and passions, other businesses and passions that you don't have to spend time in doing, and then investing into yourself. Choose one of those today, even if you're already working on one. Let's say you're already doing real estate. Like, oh, I'm already doing real estate. I'm the best real estate agent ever. Okay, cool. Now you got to be able to get better with real estate, where you're a master at that stuff. Now you need to know more than just being an agent and be an investor and be a flipper and a fixing flipper and a holder and a commercial properties. And now expand yourself to the point where you just like, if somebody spent me anything real estate, somebody bring me a real estate question right now. I bet you I can answer it because I became a master of it. I don't care if you're an agent, investor, fixer, flipper, buying, hold, commercial. It don't matter. Give me any question and I'll think of it or I'll figure it out. Because at this point, I've taken that serious, where that's my wealth investment vehicle. That was our first one anyway. So we took it seriously, and we still do it today. We still mastering it, still getting better, still making bigger and grander goals that scares the heck out of us with real estate. But we still do it. And we adding on the rest of the vehicles that we have: currencies, commodities, businesses, all those things. So whatever you do, maybe you have your own business already, right? You're like, my business is already out there. I'm already like, I got my market straight. I got an email list. I got subscribers. I got customers already. I'm selling products. I'm the best out there when it comes down to that. Cool. You can be even better with your business.
Even better.
Like you can be the top of the line to the point where you change the whole industry because you've come up with a development in that industry where now everybody got to just move on and do your idea because it was so good. It was so good it changed the industry. Now everybody got to get on board because that's the most efficient way to do it in that industry. That's how far you want to be able to go with it. So regardless of which investment vehicle that you choose, whether or not it's something brand new because you already mastered one and now you have the time and the energy and the money to be able to put to other ones, or if it's your first one, choose one and then be a master at it and get going on it today, right now. All right. And so those are the next actionable steps that we want you to do. All right, guys. And so if you have any questions at all, it doesn't matter if you're live on the webinar, if you're on social media, if you're watching a recording, if you're watching a record or listening to an audio on the podcast, wherever we have the medium at, ask your questions where it is. You can also contact us on social media. I'm at Tre On Bay, Ashley and Nicole. We'll leave those things somewhere on the website. But ask any questions that you have. We'll be happy to answer them. And so if something sparked into your head while we're talking, and you're like, what, if I had the answer to this, I'll be a little bit more clearer, or I'll be able to move a little bit more faster on what you're asking. If I knew this information or if this ignited something in me, I connected with it a little bit more, then ask questions then, to be able to get yourself in that position where you can actually take action and do it if something isn't clear or you don't totally get it all the way. So ask your questions too as we're available. We want to make ourselves available all the time for that. And then we have a surprise for you. And so every week we're going to have a surprise. This surprise is we want to offer 50% off a 45-minute consultation with us to the point where it's almost nothing. And we want to be able to spend time with you and dig in with you personally and grab what is it about you and help you build your legacy plan, help you build your financial plan, which will be wrapped all into one. And we strategically do this. And when you're done with the call with us in this 45 minutes, you're going to be so focused and clear because we don't play any games when it comes down to getting clear on what your purpose is, not us, not our purpose. We're not pushing our purpose onto you. Right. We're going to develop in a way where you're going to be so clear about your purpose and what you need to do. And we're going to make actionable steps, and we're going to help you to be able to get there any way we can to be able to make it go forward. So, sign up for a consultation. That'll be on our website at freedomlifestyleinvestors.com. It's called a Freedom Lifestyle Investment Plan. And so Freedom Lifestyle Investment Plan is an acronym FLIP. It just so happened that it just created that word, but it makes perfect sense because we're going to help you to flip your finances, flip yourself, flip your life, flip your family's life, your legacy for generations to come, all from this, this investment plan that we're going to help you to develop. And so we're getting really good at developing these things for ourselves and other people. We run into a lot of retirees that's out here in Thailand. It's like, and Pattaya is like a retirement type city. So I guess we kind of fit in because we're young and retired, but we're not as old as a lot of people that we run into. And they're like, 63 or more, and they get to get the retirement visa and they get special perks. But we run into them here and they always ask, like, what do you do? Like, y'all young and y'all still out here, chilling. And like, what is it that you do? And so we get to talk to them and tell them like, oh, we're investors. And we actually help people like you to be able to develop investment plans as far as what's your legacy that you have that leaving on. We start getting, getting deep with them and everything. And so we get to do this really well with people. And so we enjoy it.
We definitely want to offer the opportunity to you guys.
Pass that on to you. All right, so for 24 hours only, it's only for 24 hours that we're giving you this 50% off discount. Go to freedomlifestyleinvestors.com, and then that's what we're going to have for you guys.
So make sure you guys definitely have a membership. I know you guys on the webinar already have a membership, but if you are listening in, definitely make sure you have an account on there on freedomlifestyleinvestors.com.
All right, guys. So that's nearing the end of the webinar. Those are the action steps. Go out there, make it happen, make your dreams happen, make your legacy happen, and then tell us what it is. Like, we would love to hear it too. Like, if you already have your legacy plan written down, or once it's done, we get excited about that. Like, I can visualize that. I can see the world changing because of the things that you put in place. Like, that'll get me excited. I would want to, invest in you, into your business, whether or not that's my time or energy or money, whatever it is that I can invest into you. Like, hearing those things from you, like, and ignite me to get clearer with mine and things like that. So definitely want to hear whatever your legacy plan is. Share it with us. Share it with the world. Oh, thanks for finding that. Share it with the world, and we're happy to see you guys again here, and we're just excited. We woke up today early.
So excited.
We ain't gonna be able to go back to sleep, even though we planned on maybe taking a nap or something.
No, we actually got an event to go to right after this to meet other individuals here in Thailand that's traveling. Yeah. So we'll be going there. But yes, guys, definitely make sure you use that discount code, because we really want to help you guys get settled in with your flip, which is your Freedom Lifestyle Investments Plan. We want to make sure you guys have clear-cut goals, and also we want to help you achieve those goals however we can, even if we can help with some of the resources that you list out that you may need help in. It's 45 minutes thorough. We get that both of us, which is so awesome. And I'm just so excited to be talking to you guys about your plans and how we can move forward. And you never know, maybe we can work harmoniously, together. Maybe we all can create something where we feel like we want to invest in and do it as a joint effort. So you never know how far it can go. But as far as the 45 minutes, I'm so excited to make sure you guys are getting everything that you need, and also to help me also become a better coach and a better person as well, with making sure that you reach your goals. So it's an exciting journey for both of you guys, for both of us.
Definitely, guys.